All right, so again, all right, so again, I'm going over your first project, but I'm going to go over step by step with you how it works, and we're going to talk about different clay tools. But first, I'm going to start out with you talking about one of the most important parts of ceramics, which a lot of people don't realize is important. All right, I'm going to spotlight this video. All right, so yeah, I have my paper here. And so the first thing y'all are making in class is actually going to be a pinch pot, like we made the other day, or I made the other day. So pinch pots are very easy. Remember, they're just a ball of clay. But I don't want you guys just making any pinch pot on your first time. I want you to make a pinch pot, but I want you to put a design on it. So how we're going to do that is when you're thinking about designs in, man, it's hard to draw this way, in art, in 3D especially, it's all from form. So if you want to do a cylinder shape, you would start with a cylinder, right? If you wanted to do a cube, I'm freehanding all this, so don't judge. You got a cube. If you, that's not dark enough. So much more used to drawing with a pen than I am a pencil. Darken that line. So this is a cylinder. That's a terrible job. And here we have the square. Bad square. There's a better way to draw a square. I know y'all know it. Or cube, actually, cube. But there are other forms as well. There's circular or spherical, which this is just going to look like a circle, but it's going to have some 3D effects to it. Shading. It's going to be more of give it a more 3D feel. And these are kind of basic. I mean, even when you want to do a pyramid, you got a pyramid. Those are all forms. So we don't really deal with shapes as much as we do forms in this class. And you don't always have to use a full form. So like with our pinch pots, technically a pinch pot is a half of a sphere. So it's just half when you make them. That's it. Now they do have a little bit of form, so you're going to add a curved line there, and that gives it a little bit more form. It gives it some depth. It makes it look like there's something inside there, which there will be because it's a pinch pot. I'm drawing these very tiny. I'm sorry about that. I don't want to zoom in. I don't want y'all to draw them this tiny. So I'm going to draw a bigger one right here. So this is what I'm going to want you guys to do for your first project. When you come next week, I would like you to have these ready for me. It's a really bad pinch pot, but it's going to work. So pinch pot 1, I would like to have you have it drawn about this size. You can do both of your pinch pots. You're going to do 2 pinch pots. So you're doing both designed on the same page, but it's kind of up to you. And I want you to draw the design you're kind of looking for on there, because I want you to put a surface design on the outside. Like when I put my little fingerprints, if I want to just put little like light texture, I can just kind of do that, kind of give the idea that there's going to be some light texture of some sort there. I can do lines if I want to carve in lines. I can do curls if I want. The whole thing needs to be designed. You can even just take something and press dots into it. However you want, the whole surface though has to be a design. And it doesn't have to just be swirls or whatever. You can do like flowers or birds or whatever you want. It's up to you to be able to do this. But this is the design I want you to go by, is make it a pinch pot this size so that I can really see that you worked on the design. And then I want you to think about how it's going to look when you're done too. So we're going to use underglaze for this first one. Can anyone tell me what you think underglaze is? It's just colored clay that goes under the glaze. And it just, let's see, I have a piece over here that's underglaze. And it just gives you the opportunity to, it works more like paint instead of glaze. So this is a piece that's got underglaze on it. And then it's got a clear coat of glaze on top of it. That's all. So we'll be using underglaze for the first time. So your options are, you can carve in, you can do those kind of designs, and that counts too, or you can just paint a design. Now, if you want to paint a design, I want you to be specific in that. So I want you to say, I'm going to paint a design, and then you're going to tell me what, you're going to do the design on here, and you're going to tell me what colors. So either way, we're using underglaze. Underglaze comes in a lot of different colors. So you can use one solid color, you can use a variety of colors. It works just like paint, unlike glaze. You can mix underglazes to get a different color glaze. And you can use less. They take you use 3 coats to get them a good solid color, but you don't have to do 3 coats. You can do a little bit less and it'll look more like watercolor, which is what I did here. That's why it looks kind of not, see there's some that's thicker. That's where I was more, I put more of the black glaze, underglaze on there. But this is all just really watered down yellow because I wanted to give it a watercolor effect. So your pinch pots will be about 2 pounds each. And you'll receive clay in a little baggie. And this will be the very first part we do. So you need to come next week with a design ready to go of your 2 pinch pots, because this is pinch pot number 1. Pinch pot number 2 is going to be a pinch pot with animal characteristics. So what that means, I don't think I have an example over here. I don't know what happened to mine over the years. So what that means is you're gonna pick an animal, whatever animal you want. I've seen people do blobfish. I have seen people do all kinds of fish, different things. You can do bugs, you can do whatever. It just has to have representation of an animal. And it doesn't have to be, you do not have to do like a pinch pot of like this, where it's your pinch pot, and then you have to add like a long neck if you're doing a giraffe, and little legs, a little tail. It doesn't have to be like that. If you're doing a giraffe and you don't want to do all that, or you can do all that, but if you don't want to do all that, you can just kind of make it a pot. And you can add, I don't know what a giraffe looks like without thinking about it. A giraffe's like qualities onto it. I don't know, it looks like a giraffe, but you get the idea, right? And even put little horns on it, because I know they got those little stubs. So you can do it either way. A lot of people do make giraffes and they don't make their heads out like that because that's easier to break, so you have to make the head up. Like that. Not like this. It would have to go up like that. Any head you make will have to go up like that. I've seen people make turtles, fish, and also the pinch pot can be turned on its side so that you create your pinch pot. This can be the whole of the pinch pot. It can be the center, and the back of it can be, I don't know, a frog. I swear I'm better at drawing this, you guys. So, but see, I'm not doing. It doesn't have to be a great sketch. It just has to be something I can get an idea of. So that's the leg, in case y'all were wondering. I would expect y'all to look at pictures of frogs to do this. So that it could be like that, and you can even have like a little tongue that comes out. Had someone do that and put a little frog on there, a little fly on there. Obviously, if you look at Pinterest and you put in ceramic pinch pot, a lot of designs are going to come up. So you want to do that when you decide what animal you want to do. Now, if I'm going to design mine now, this is the way I want you guys to think about it, is what animal, I don't know. Trying to think of an animal I should do. I guess I'll do a cat. I have a cat looking at me over here, so I'll do a cat. So pull him over here so I can kind of use him as a reference. He's kind of a scary cat. I don't know if y'all can see him in that little bitty. I'll put him here. I got him at a thrift store for 25 cents. Grand fine. So I'm going to set him up in front of me so I can kind of see the face. Even though I kind of know what a cat face looks like, we're going to use it anyway. So I'm going to want the face to be the main feature. So cats have these really big eyes. Turn it around. I have to draw like this sometimes. So this is just kind of a rough sketch though. And then they have the little noses. And you have the little mouths. And I can add that this is going to be, because cats do have a little bit more that comes out here. It usually comes out there. So I'm going to put little lines to show the definition that that's what's going to happen. I also want to go ahead and put the pupils in there because that's part of the cat, or the eyes, and these big, scary pupils. These eyes are really big. I'm going to make this look like my cat because he's a psychopath. I'm going to color those pupils in because those will be black. Put the little chin there. Now all of this is coming out from the clay too, but I can still pinch clay to do this. And we'll do this in an example in a second. Yeah. So if I want to do a cat pinch pot, I can do it like that. And I'm putting those back there so you can tell that it is going to be a pot. And this does come out from the pot. And if I wanted someone to see that really well, if you have a piece that's going to come out, you can do a side view for me, which I would appreciate very much. So I would suggest to do it. Of course, the bottom's going to be a little flatter than that. But you could do a side piece where you show me where it comes out at. So that's like how it's going to come out. You have the ear there, even, you know, so you have your little cat pot, and then it can be designed however you want it. If I want to design it like my cat, I'd put a little, he's like got a weird little white patch right there, and then the rest of him is solid, is black, except for certain areas. So if I was doing him, that would be it. Now I have my design, I know what I'm going to go with. So also I know what colors I'm going to use because my cat is black and he's white. He has yellow eyes. So those are the colors I'm going to use. I already know, and I'm going to need what color? Pink. I need pink too because pink is there for that little bitty nose he's going to have. And also he has a little bit of pink in his ears. So that's when y'all come back next week, I would like you guys to have this kind of going. It's okay if you don't and you want to talk to me more about it, that's fine. But by next week, we'll have this done because it's your first grade coming back is to have this done. These two designs. You can do yours on the same page. So what I wanted to talk about next was, I know I told you guys I was going to talk about adding things together. So what I'm going to use to cut the clay is wire, and I should have a piece of wire in all y'all's boxes. Might be a little longer than this. It's very thin. But it's used to cut clay. See, I wedged this clay earlier, and we'll go over wedging. But I obviously did not do a good job because those are air bubbles in there. Those are no good. That will cause the clay to pop. So it's a good thing we're not actually keeping this. Just wanted to show y'all how wedging works. And a couple of things work, such as if you're going to dig work out of something or how thick your walls need to be for your pinch pot. So that's about 1/2 inch of thickness there on the walls. See where that line is? And that's how thick your pieces should be. They should be 3/4, but we'd rather keep them about 1/2 inch so that I can make sure they really don't blow up. Now, slipping and scoring, if I have two pieces of clay and I want to put them back together, I can't just put them back together like this because they won't stick, and in firing, they'll pull apart and they'll break. So there is another way to do that. In your toolbox will be this tool. It's called a Sgraffito tool. And you'll just scratch it. Scratch the clay surface, rough it up. There's two different ways to do this. We're going to do it this way because you guys aren't going to really have slip at your table. Normally, though, you can make your own slip. So if I wanted to take a little bit out of here, and I want to put it on my table here, take a little bit of water, and just kind of mush it around in there. All slip is very watered down clay. That's slip. So I just made a little bit of glue for myself, but I'm not going to use that. So what I'm going to do instead, though, is since I have all this roughed up, I'm going to put water on top of it, and you guys will have little spray bottles filled with water. And after I put that water on there, I'm just going to scratch it up again. That creates slip on the piece. Now, it's better to rough up both sides. And you don't want to do little bitty, not deep things. You want to do it very deep. If you don't do it very deep, it's not going to stick. It's not going to bond. We're looking for the clay to rebond. We'll talk about bonding elements when we wedge. And so that's it. And then I would just put it back together. I'd press down and kind of wiggle it, and that seals it. And see, now I can't pull it back from each other. It's stuck. So now I can guarantee that if I were to fire this whole ball, which would never happen because if I fired this whole thing, it would explode because clay has to be hollow when it's fired. It would be fine because it wouldn't come apart because I have wedged it or I have slipped and scored it together. And that's how you attach clay. If you don't attach clay and you skip that step or you don't do it really well, I'm going to know because when I put it in the kiln or when I take it out of the kiln, it'll fall apart. So you don't want to skip this step. And just because you work on things so hard, why would you skip a step that's vital to its success, you know? So you don't want to skip that part. So that's a big part of what we'll be doing next week is attaching, because you're going to have to attach your little elements. So like if I wanted to attach a little element, if I was making an eyeball on my cat, and I wanted to roll up a little ball of clay, again, I couldn't just stick it on there. It wouldn't stay. And that's a terrible eye anyway, but this is just to show you an example. I would have to score it, put some water, Flare it up again, create some slip. Do the same on the back of this. With this slip there. And then put it back on there and attach it. And then I would want to smooth it in so that it actually looks like the pieces together and it doesn't look like the eye is popping out from nowhere. Obviously, this was not a great example, but I mean, it's a good example, but it would be better if I had the cat already going, but I will do that for you guys next week. So you can see the eye kind of sticks out, or if you want to make a nose and it sticks out, but that's how you attach things. Do y'all have any questions?
For the animal punch pot, could we do like a dragon, for instance?
Sure can. I had someone do a dragon last year. And I'll show you pictures of those if I have some pictures of them. And also you can look at the Huntsville High Art Instagram, and we have a lot of old pictures on there of past students' work. So you'll see kind of the things we'll be doing. But yeah, so it doesn't have to be a real animal. I don't care. Just has to be an animal of some sort. If y'all don't have any more questions, that's all for the day. We will, the only thing we'll be doing Friday is you don't have to come unless you have a question about something, and then you can come. I will have my computer open, and you'll have to yell really loud at me to get my attention, because I'm going to be working in the room and getting things together for next week for you guys. So don't worry about coming Friday unless you have a question or need my help with something. All right, well, if that's all I got for you, so you guys can have a happy Wednesday, and I'll see you guys next week if you don't need me Friday.
Bye, Miss Harrison.
Bye.